YouTube, it's Brian Phillips again with the Airbus A380. Looking good as always. And I wanted to show you, this nose has been bothering me really bad for a long time. So as you know, it comes with this really ugly, I mean it's actually a nice looking windshield, it's just too big, a lot too big. And it sticks on here and it makes it look really fakey, and then it's up too high. And just a lot of different things are not right about it. But it's just very subtle things that make it look bad. So, what I've done is I've done a bunch of research, basically looking at pictures. And I found out that the biggest issue I have with these windshields is that there's no point where the windshield stops and the nose starts. And that's consistent on all the Airbus models. All of them. Not just the 380. And if you look at this, there's just, it's like a porpoise nose, okay? So I couldn't believe how easy it was. I couldn't believe how easy it was. I took my thumb, actually I took this square, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to make a line. And I did that, and then the decal came off, which was perfect. Kind of meant to film it, sorry guys. And then I said, okay, well I'll just reshape it with my thumb. And I couldn't believe it, but it worked. And so I just sat here and just shaped it until I got that transition that I had been looking for, okay? And I didn't even need a stark transition, I just needed some transition, okay? And remember, this is foam, so you could put your finger through it fairly easy. But I don't think we're going to have a problem because it's actually quite flexible. So now look at that. Already the profile is like 99% improved. Just that little teeny bit of stretching right there. It's like they didn't get the mold right. So, that being said, okay, now we have our original size. Well, this is actually our second or third size. And we apply that right to the seam in the nose, okay? And guys, look at that. Sorry about the flickering, if you can see that in the video. My LED lights are freaking out, I don't know why. But look how much better that looks. It has a way better profile. And granted, we've got the landing gear. It's so much better that it's like, it's making me want to put all sorts of more details in this. And I think I need to get that down just a touch too. So it's right on the edge of the, I don't know if it's called the saddle, but I'm calling it the saddle. Yep, that's it. Needed to go down a little bit. And part of the problem is, practically speaking, they didn't have the size that far off in terms of the shape. But the shape was, the wrongness of the shape was being exacerbated by the size that they were using to kind of mitigate the size error on these things. Because like I said, the reason that these sell is because they're silver on the outside and black in the middle. So the black, when you look at this compared to this, it looks about right. Well, that's because you don't have an outline per se. There is some sort of a, you know, a rim around the window, but it's so minuscule compared to the size of the plane. On here, it's a fairly significant thing. So anyway, okay, so my plan is, currently we're getting a decal printed, like right now as we speak. So we're going to apply that in a few minutes, right where that sits, okay? And by the way, we were thinking about doing a silver background, and then about a 10% difference, or I think it's going to end up being like 18% difference between the two sizes. And of course the color's not going to be that color. But we were thinking about doing that, and we came to the conclusion that even though it does look okay, I just felt like that brought back the porpoise nose, no matter how we tried to sell it. And so we decided to just go with the original and just go with one color. Which was kind of a tough thing to come to, by the way. And so even though it does look significantly better in my opinion than the factory look, we decided to go back to this. And so that's what we're printing right now. Now, along the lines of printing, we're also doing, and you just see, it just gets the scope, the size of the airplane. It captures the feel better. Okay, it's missing a landing gear right now. I'm going to show you why. So you remember how we were talking about painting these things? Well, we're going to be doing that here in a few minutes. I've taken the tires off of this one truck, and this is what we came up with. We're actually printing 3 different sizes. We're going to put a white decal to get away from these non-scale looking spoked wheels. And we're also going to be able to paint these things. And it's going to be quite easy to paint since they're taken apart like this. That being said, you can get these tires back on, but I don't want to be on and off more than one time. So you also have to imagine what it'd be like if we did. This is actually the size we started with, trying to duplicate the windshields. So as you can see, white is definitely the rim color, and silver is in the middle of many of the rims. This one doesn't have silver on the out, this one doesn't have silver on the out. These have silver on the outside. Okay, so ours is going to have the silver that this gets painted is going to show through, okay, because that's the stationary part, and we're going to stick the vinyl on the inside. So it's going to look really nice, very scale, and with very limited effort. Now let's look at the color. We've got the silver here. We've got the silver for pretty much everything except for wires and hoses and stuff. And we could always add that later if we decided to. I mean, granted, this is a nose gear and these are the mains, but let's look at the mains. The mains have the same material. See? Same silver, same white, okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to paint this, and that's what we're doing next. So I'm going to get that set up right here, and we'll be right back with it. Okay, so we've got the nose gear stripped down to just the basics. And when we spray this, we'll just want to be super careful we don't get up in the bearing portions. And the other thing that's nice about painting these in place is that I can ensure that I won't get any paint where it's going to make these legs harder to get in and out. So that's important. And just noticing that that's got a little more play than I would like on it. I'm just going to address that right this second. It's so easy to do. I evidently just didn't get quite enough the last time. So we're just going to go heavy on this side. We're just going to coat it again. Looks like I had spread some white paint with that already, so I'm just going to take a dry one and just make sure that we have everything soaked up. And then I'm going to go 1 spritz of kicker, but this time I'm going to go straight onto this so we can keep it off of the surface that's getting painted in just mere seconds. Okay, so done deal. So the painting part should go pretty smooth, and so we can get these tires off, and then we're going to use this paint, which is rust-oleum, universal advanced formula, metallic paint and primer all in one, plastic, satin nickel. And I'm really hoping that is a close match, very close to reality. And I looked through the aisle forever, and this was about as close as I could get. They had one that was similar, but it was not necessarily specifically expressly called out as being a plastic paint. And I said, you know what, I need every chance for success I can get. So I decided to go with that. And yes, by the way, I have put one of these wheels back on one time to make sure that it would work. Okay. So I'm going to pause it while I get the rest of these tires off and wheels. Alright guys, so I received a delivery here in the last minute or so. And this is the size we had before. 10% larger, 10% larger, and 10% larger still. So this is what this is going to look like. This is just a test of white vinyl. We wanted to see how this was going to fit. So remember, this is going to be painted silver in the middle. Oh, maybe. We may have to resize it just a little bit. I wonder if it would shrink if I heated it. I bet it will. It does pull it tight, doesn't it? So yeah, so that would definitely give us a look that I'm going for. So we might just have to size it down just a little teeny bit on the outside. But you guys get the idea. That's gonna look a lot like the real one. That's gonna help to sell that scale effect. And of course we're not going to do the backside. We don't care about that. You're not going to see it very good. And I think that's what we're going to do. And then also we got this canopy. So while we're not painted, let's put it on there. This is exciting stuff, man. Lots of cool little details coming together. So this is the contact paper on here. So we should be able to just go ahead and stick that right on. But I want to wipe it down with some alcohol first. Not that. Some alcohol. With a brand new rag. We're just going to wipe this all down here. Oh, and by the way, that line I made, I took that out with the hot water. There was a pretty distinct line that I had made. It's crazy how easy it is to bend that. I just hope it doesn't bend back super easy also. If it does, I'll just have to rebend it. Okay. So here goes nothing, guys. Oh, it's so scary. See if we can start it somewhere else. Okay, there we go. Yes. 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 Oh, that is so gorgeous. Nice to meet you, Airbus A380. Isn't that crazy how much of a difference that one decal makes? Guys, you would think this is not a Tian Sheng model. Well, it hardly is at this point. But just even that one decal. It looks so right. Oh, that is a huge relief. Okay, we're going to pause it and get masking done. Alright guys, so we've got all the wheels exposed. I went through and cut off like little chunks of plastic and just made sure I didn't see anything that was aggressively out of place. And I tightened up these, and then these ones I left with a little bit of play so that we can adjust them if we need to. And I've just got the paper thing that comes to the house. I don't even know what this is. I don't read it. And we'll just use that to mask around everything. Oops. Okay, so the easiest way that I've always found to mask around something that you don't want to get sprayed is to just do it like this. Just drop it down around it, and then you may end up having to rip it a little bit to get it to where you need it. And then you're going to do that so that each of your items being painted, it's just going to kind of wrap around them. And then you can come in there with the masking tape and complete your wrapping. The complication for us in this case is that I kind of want to paint the bases too. So it's going to be a little bit challenging in that sense to do all those different things on the same spray. But you can see how that's going to work. Is you just want to make sure the overspray doesn't fall down onto the rest of the plane. So we're going to wrap the rest of the plane with plenty of excess. Okay, so next I'm going to take some of this masking tape. I'm just going to cut around where we want it to be exposed. Okay, the outer extremity, and then the tape is going to make the difference. Okay, and that way you don't have to do as much taping. So then you tape this to your mask. You just run it up along there. Okay, and then just don't forget gaps like that. If you have a gap, get that covered up right away, because you'll forget about it if you're a normal humanoid like me. Normal. Our normal adult males that have jobs to get to in the morning, are they working at 12:45 in the morning when they have to leave for work in a few hours? No, not typically. But that's just the sacrifice that I make for YouTube. Okay, so now when we spray this, if we get up under there, that's fine, because that's all black up there. And then we just want to make sure that we have it tight around the edge there. And then if there were any concern, you can actually wrap it like that, but I don't think we're going to have any issues, because I should be able to easily control the spray, the overspray. This is going to be fairly limited overspray. Okay, so it's the same thing on the others. And then like this lip of foam that you can see there, I don't even care if we spray that. So I will pause it and then we'll come back when we're ready to spray. Okay, so we've got everything masked off, and I like to go through and just double check, like around the tight spots right before I get ready to spray paint. Just make sure everything's still pressed down, make sure I didn't miss any seams. Okay, because if that seam is still exposed, then that sort of compromises your paint job. And then like this, I missed one of my pillows from underneath. I don't think I'm going to hit this spot, so I can just throw these down here loose. Just Menard sacks at like a local lumberyard if you don't have those around your area. And then like on this tail, we'll just drop that actually underneath the masking that is there already to make sure we don't get any on there. And then probably one more. So just this once over. Normally I'd be laying it onto a spray, something that I've designed to really protect the table. That came down really easy. That's not so good. And then I put a chunk of styrofoam underneath each wing to keep it level so it won't move. There's our hubs, our wheels. So we're going to apply those later. We resized those to make sure they're a good size. We got our fan to suck out the excess air, and then the exhaust vents on as well. And without further ado, we're ready to get our first coat on. So just slide this out. I've never used this style, so I'm not sure if that comes off or just stays on. We'll do a little test spray here. Nope. Okay, so that's a protector. Okay, get it moving. Get a little bit of air going. Okay, so this stuff's pretty stinky, so I'm probably going to go ahead and get my fire alarm down real quick. Okay, so the fire alarm is down, so we can pick this back up. Man, that looks shimmery. It's very thick paint. A little concerned about my wheels. A little shinier than I expected it would be. Okay, so now we look and we touch up. Remember, the base coat of black, it's not like anybody's saying that you have to have 100% coverage to make it look right. So but I'll be honest with you, I want this to have a certain look. And I feel like we're going to be able to achieve it. We got enough crap around all this stuff that it could turn out kind of weird if we don't get it all right on the first go around. Okay, here we go. Missed an angle there. So I'm just going around. And just hitting the dry spots. We're going to see how good that looks. Of course, we got our fan pulling air here, so we'll kick that up a notch. Got a filter here and then a filter on the other side, pre and post filter. And we got an exhaust vent that goes through, pulls out air at 90 CFM, which is a little bit slow. And then I can actually split the air so it'll venturi through there. Works pretty good usually. So now the only thing I got to figure out is, am I going to move these things to resituate like that? And then I've got to do the same thing to actually reposition the action on the truck as well. Now, obviously I don't really mean to paint inside those rims. So that's not what I'm going for. I just want to make sure that I get the tops painted. The wheels is what I mean. And you're probably thinking to yourself, but Brian, I thought you just showed those decals. Well, yes, those decals are actually going to be applied straight on top of the silver. So when this is all set up, theirs are going to fall right in there. So my hope is it's going to look a lot like this picture. So let's see. It's a little bit on the shimmery side, but I think it'll be okay. I think it's going to look really nice. Because you remember, it's got to be a little bit aggressive or it's not going to show up at all. You wouldn't even notice it. Okay, so turning this is not going to make a difference. Tipping these might. So what I'll do is I'll grab something that's very fine tipped, like an X-Acto knife, so that I don't make a big difference on the paint. And I'll go between a seam right here, and I'll just push this down. I don't really see anything. Maybe just a little there. Just going into an unpainted area. And this is supposed to be like one of these like hammered looks. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So far it looks pretty cool, but it's definitely not. It's more shimmery than I expected. I think that that's going to go away as this dries dull. And that's why I'm thinking it's too shimmery, because this is going to dry dull. So see this spot here? I don't know if that's going to be an issue or not. Let's hit it again. Ah, stupid. Bag fell off. No big deal. Okay, so now I can lift these back up to the other extreme. Make sure I don't have a devoid there, but at the same time you got to keep in mind, how often are you going to get down and look at that angle? I don't even think you're going to be able to do it most of the time, because you'll have wheels on there, and you'll have tires rather. So I think that's about it, guys. So good measure, and now we got overspray all over the place, which is okay. That's all part of the show. Anything for you, tube. Alright guys, coat number 2 coming up. Just going to rotate the tires, or the wheels rather, and just make sure I don't have any dry spots. A couple of these have had some real light spots, but not, I wouldn't call them a total miss. They're just not as dark as some of the other. So we'll just double check, and then we're going to get back to spraying, and this time be an even lighter coat. I put my little protector back on. If you guys get this stuff, try not to spray yourself in the face, but that thing slips up and around. I don't know what's wrong with the old type of can, to be honest. This stuff is nice. You can spray it at any angle. They say you can, but I never believe that crap until I see it myself. So far it seems like you can. And I like the rust-oleum. It seems to work pretty good most of the time. It's way better coverage than some of the other junk. I used to buy the cheapy cans. They were like $1 each. This stuff's expensive though. It's like $7 almost. It's like 6 something. But you know, it's supposed to be primer and paint. It's paint and plastic, and it's going to be on a rough and tumble piece. So I guess I kind of got to give it the royal treatment, you know. I'm aiming right now for this spot right here, and I'm sure I'm probably getting a lot more paint than I need, but I mean, this is going to be underneath the plane. It'll be seen like by me and 400 other people online, but I want it to look really good for those 400 people. Let's just be honest. So I'm actually sliding my little protector back on. I don't really know why I feel so compelled to do that, but I don't want to spray myself in the face, kinda. So now I think we're done for tonight. I think I want to give you guys the unmasking part, but I think I have time, so we'll do that. We'll pause it and come right back. That's not PM. Anybody who has a YouTube channel probably understands. You push through and you make sure your paint is dry. Oh, that looks gorgeous. So cool. Yes. 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 Beautiful. Awesome. Okay. Oh, it's so satisfying pulling masking off of things of the sort. Please be dry. Ooh. Look what we have here, folks. We have a delicious airliner underneath. Oh, yes. Very nice. It is very nice. I like it very much. Menard Sachs, you've done me well. Oh yes. I have not spread my carpet or rugs. I'm so happy. Oh, look, another Menard sack. There's sacks everywhere. Oh yes, so far so good. Yes. Beautiful people. My exhaust fan just shut off. Talk about phenomenal timing here. It's like opening a gift, guys. Oh, it's so awesome. I am more than concerned that we are about ready to run out of time. Mostly because we are about ready to run out of time. Oh, that looks good, guys. Looks really good. We got a little bit of pass through from the paper onto this, so we'll just have to touch that up, no big deal. Oh yes, even here. Yes! It only gets slightly better than this, guys, and it's... Oh yes. Gorgeous. Yes, they look so metallic-y and perfect. There's more coming, guys. I cannot bring myself to put these wheels on right now. I just can't do it. I gotta let this paint dry more overnight. But look how sweet that looks, guys. That is so cool. It turned out so nice. And they're way more visible. It's like the first time you're ever seeing them. There's so many wheels too. Of course there's 4 less than there should be. That's neither here nor there at this point. I'm just gonna go with how awesome it looks. Alright guys. Come back for more on the Airbus A380. Brian Phillips here, signing out for the night. I know you guys can't do without seeing this thing come to its fruition. There's going to be a few more scale details we add probably before the maiden. Mostly just because we got some crap weather the next few days coming up. And I think it's going to be worthwhile, guys. It looks great, I think. Really happy with it. We'll go ahead and get the decals added in the next, probably tomorrow. The wheel decals. And once the paint's had a chance to dry, and we'll also get those tires back on. We're going to get a number here, the FD whatever number that goes right here. We're going to get that on both sides, and then I believe it might actually be on just the right wing. I'll have to look it up, I forget. But we're going to have that down here. I might have to tape over this just to be on the safe side. But guys, it's going to be awesome. This is going to look so cool. And boy, look at that. It's so much better now. I know it seems subtle, and it is really truly subtle. But look how much the subtlety made in terms of a difference. It's so much more realistic looking. And look at that, guys. Looks so much better. Wait till there's lights and all sorts of cool features. That's not going to come before the Mate. Alright. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, please.